And almost all the competitors on the beam perform that backward somersault. So do the championships themselves. 14 regions are represented by 4 girls, 1 per piece of apparatus. That's the vault, beam, asymmetric bars, and the floor. Their individual marks are combined to give a final team score, so everything counts and mistakes are costly.
And to get the championships underway, Fiona Goff of the West Midlands on the asymmetric bars. Should do well. She's an English Schools International, bronze medalist in this event in last year's Lilia White Championships. And good routine so far, including good handstand movements, ridiculous. And that's the Hecht flyaway dismount.
And Fiona's score, 9.1. And first to go on the vault, Nicola Meek. This is her second vault. She's already scored a 9.4. Going for the same vault, that's the straight Sukahara.
Nicola, the favourite for this event, setting a very high standard, and that's an even better vault. What a mark, 9.5. That's the top mark ever in a Lilia White competition.
And this is Lindsay Broomfield of the Southwest on the beam. Beam, very often the girls' least favourite piece of apparatus. Every mistake shows, but a beautiful front somersault there and a perfect landing. The front somersault, very difficult. She can't see where she's going to come down.
What a start to this routine. A front somersault, and then she followed it with a free cartwheel. So far, plenty of difficulty. Gymnasts in this year's competition, very young. Lindsay Broomfield, just 12 years of age. Back flip. Into back walk over chest roll. Tuck back. Into a second back flip, just a slight wobble. Really a lot of agilities in this routine.
And the hollow back somersault to finish with. 8.95 for Lindsay Broomfield.
Alison Niles now on the asymmetric bars in the London South East region. Opens with a good short clear. Swing to handstand. And that's the tumble turn, dropping from the high bar to the lower bar. Again the handstand. And a very spectacular dismount. That's the Comaneci dismount. And really that's performing it as well as Comaneci ever does.
Julie Moffat from London and the South East, about to vault. And that's the tuck Sukahara, well landed, perhaps a little low, but well controlled.
9.25, that puts her into second place.
From Inner London, Sharon Winch.
And on the asymmetric bars, Sharon Winch from Inner London.
Straight up into these handstand movements. Just 12 years of age in her first major competition. Working with good swing in this routine. Good line, good extension. And that high shoe front dismount.
And a good routine from Sharon Winch, but perhaps not quite the difficulty in it that Alison Niles showed. 9.25, just 0.05 of a mark behind.
On the beam, from West Midlands.
Onto the beam now, Lisa Young of the West Midlands. Under 15 English Schools champion, so quite an experienced gymnast.
Really important to get off to a good start The wobbles at the beginning of a routine tend to make the girls lose their concentration and worry about them.
Gymnasts performing on just one of the 4 pieces of apparatus, and Lisa's chosen the beam. I think that perhaps the most difficult piece, especially if you're competing in a major competition like that. Yes, perhaps those nerves having effect there, that minor wobble. Of course, these gymnasts, very young, performing in front of a very large audience, probably quite different from what they're used to.
The back somersault, almost statutory in a beam exercise these days.
Seems to have regained her confidence now. The second part of the routine looking more secure. And full twist somersault to dismount. Marred by a few wobbles at the start, but otherwise a good routine, and 9.2 her score.
Little Maria Rodriguez from Inner London, very small girl, on the vault. Obviously a disadvantage. She's got to get tremendous speed to get the height. Gathers herself. There it is, the tuck Sukahara, and plenty of height on that one. She must have been nervous. She'd only scored 8.7 on her first vault, but that should improve it greatly.
Well, really, she's barely as tall as the horse, but gets tremendous lift off the top of the horse. Here, good push there into that tuck position, and really her head well up the high vault. And 9.35, that puts her into second place.
And at this point, we're halfway through the competition, each of the 14 regions having competed on 2 pieces of apparatus. At the moment, Inner London first, London and South East second, and West Midlands third.
And onto the floor, Karen Kennedy of London South East.
Arrow spring, flick-flack, and double twisting back somersault. It's a difficult start.
It's an important routine in the team competition. London and South East lying just behind Inner London.
Second tumbling routine.
It's front somersault walkout, round off flick straight back. Gymnasts no longer doing these moves in isolation, but linking them together in sequences.
Now the final tumbles. And a single twist in that final somersault. Plenty of difficulty there in the tumbles.
And that's the best routine so far on the floor.
Start. Another tiny little girl about to vault. And she went for a difficult vault, didn't quite get the height, the tuck Sukahara, and she's paid the penalty. These girls having to go for these great difficulty moves, and she's hurt herself quite badly. And in fact, Debbie Buckley's had to withdraw without doing her second vault. Those tears of disappointment as well as pain.
On the floor, Sarah Ridgway of West Midlands. That's a 1.5 twist. That's an unusual tumble. We've already seen some doubles, but the 1.5 is tricky because you have to time the twist just right so you can walk out into the next move. back somersault. Powerful combination.
And generally, the high standard has been a feature of these championships. All the girls, including very difficult moves in their routines. Building up to her finale. This is when its tiredness tells.
Well, and a good single twisting somersault at the end of that routine. Yet another good performance. And she needs 9.15 to go into the lead, and she gets it. 9.15 for Sarah Ridgway.
And Natalie Davies of London and the South East on the beam. Natalie, one of the favourites for the beam title.
Natalie performing under a lot of pressure. Not only is she the favourite for this event, but also the team title depending on her performance. She needs to score a 9.05 if the London and South East are going to win the team championship.
And the beam, the last piece of apparatus one wants to have left in a team championship. Mistakes really exaggerated. Nevertheless, she started confidently, just a little wobble there. And a little wobble on landing from that free cartwheel.
In Natalie's last competition, she included a very difficult combination, 3 backflips in succession. Will she risk it today? And there's the first, second, and third.
Beautiful control at the end of those 3. Very easy to get slightly out of alignment. But she's got to include the difficulty as well as performing well. And she's certainly doing that. And a nice hollow back somersault to finish off with. Of the favourites.
Good finish to an excellent routine. The preparatory backflip. Linking these difficult moves together. And there into the straight back somersault. Just a small step back on landing, but really a very secure routine. And a well-deserved 9.4.
And last to go on the floor, Susan Boyle from Yorkshire. Susan came in as a last-minute replacement for Susan Crombie, who last May became Thames Television's Junior Gymnast of the Year. So there's a great deal of responsibility on her.
And it's her opening tumbling sequence, a single twisting back somersault.
These dance movements in between the tumbling routines, just as important to the judges. They've got to show height and extension on them to get themselves a really high mark.
Arabian walkout, round off flick tuck back. Girls including these tricky combinations. She has to keep the speed going out of that Arabian somersault so she has enough momentum to go into that round off flick somersault.
Now the final tumbling routine. And another Arabian somersault to finish off with. And a competent performance from the final competitor, Susan Boyle, and now the gymnasts return to the arena for the presentations. The team champions, London and the South East, with all their girls placed in the individual competitions.
On vault, Nicola Meek first, second Maria Rodriguez, third Julia Moss.